Hello and welcome to another episode of Tales from a Professional Nerd. My name is Bryan Steele, and I will be your nerd today. And every other day that you decide to watch one of my shows or media outlets or whatever, tune in as the case may be. First off, before we duck into the Week in Bryan, we are going to say, I'm going to let you know right away that this episode is actually, because it's a special episode based off of something that happens in America next week, that we will not have an episode next week. I normally record on Thursdays, and next week, Thursday, is Thanksgiving. Which, although we're not really getting together with family outside of the home, social distancing, the whole 9 yards, quarantine and whatnot because of the virus, we are still gonna have a nice dinner and a day off here at the house, a day of relaxation and playing games and things where we're going to kind of forget about all of our daily troubles, that kind of thing. So I won't be recording next week. So our next episode is actually going to be in 2 weeks. Keep that in mind. Don't be mad at me. I'm taking a week off to hang out with the fam and do that sort of thing. But then hopefully in 2 weeks' time, I will have some awesome, cool, new, special news and things, and we'll have an amazing time. Now, to the Week in Bryan. So this week's been weird. It's been weird. We did not get to play D&D last weekend. Played a lot of oddly enough, Minecraft. I have gotten the Minecraft bug from my kids. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because it's the mindless, not really monotony, but it's a simple puzzle that I can work toward and, play for 20 minutes, play for an hour, play for half an hour. I can get, I can make progress. I can build my little house. I can come up with my own fun little story. It's like video game role playing in my brain. But I've been playing a lot with the kids lately, and the other day, I didn't have anything else that I really wanted to do. I didn't feel like, my back was hurting me, so I didn't feel like getting in the painting, the painting hobby and looming over my my hobby rig. So I booted up Minecraft on the Xbox, and I dove in and played for like 2 hours by myself. My own little world, all by myself. I don't have kids asking me, "Can I borrow your iron pickaxe?" I don't leave without me. I'm scared of spiders. I didn't have any of that stuff to distract me. I just played. I died a bazillion times. Whatever. It's Minecraft. But it was weird because I found myself excited to get through the little milestones. Like the first time that you find iron in a pit, you're like, yeah, sweet, I can build cool tools. The first time that I dug down deep enough to find the freestanding lava in a cave. Weird little things that I've done a dozen different times with the kids in their games. But since this was like my world, my own little special place on its own, I felt, I don't know, there was something about it that was like, I'm achieving things, and so now I've gone and played a couple more times in that same world, spent a little bit of extra time on the side, and I don't know what it is, I'm playing a lot of Subnautica, which is a beautiful game, super hard, I die all the time, and then my every Wednesday, soon to be every other Wednesday, game with my friend Bryan from further east, out of state. We've been playing a lot of Sea of Thieves. So if you're not a video gamer, I hate to be like, this is a lot of what I'm going to talk about right now, but a lot of my Week in Bryan has been, aside from work stuff, which has been steady. I'm so close to having to almost having the first DM's Guild. My layout person says that it's going to be ready for December. I'm slugging along on the second one that's filled with cool monsters. Some of those monsters are already in playtest. And they're pretty rad. I've got to get the art done for the monsters, but some of these monsters are super cool, and I can't wait. I know monster supplements generally do pretty well on the DM's Guild, but I think when I unveil a few of these critters to people, I think that it's going to be. I think it'll be a fun, again, low cost PDF just to add some new threats to your game. If your D&D game, your players are, they've seen it all twice, and then so you know what? Let's throw a Badgerhawk at them. What's a Badgerhawk, mind you? Badgerhawk is like created by the same people who made Owlbears, except this time they're flying badgers. Weird, but cool, and something that you could see totally nesting up in the trees in a D&D world. Yeah, I'm not going to get into it because I'm sure when that's a little closer to being actual done, I'll do an episode based on it to discuss it. So hopefully you guys will go out and download it. But the first one, the first of the Lore Masters Guide series, which that's the name of my DM's Guild series of supplements called the Lore Masters Guides. Basically, I'm writing them as if there is a guild of lore masters, people that go out and travel the different planes, travel creation, and when new things cross their path, they write it down in their journals, they write it down in their books, and then you are getting the different volumes, the encyclopedias, effectively, of their work. You're getting the writing that the lore masters have put down. And the first one will be, as long as everything goes well together, and be ready for download in December. It's going to be super low cost, like $4, maybe $5 if my layout person costs me more than it's supposed to. But it's a whole bunch of subclasses that have been play tested over the last 6 months to try and help. Honestly, so Tasha's Cauldron of Everything just came out a couple days ago, and one of the parts of Tasha's that everybody seems to be jazzed over is the new subclasses that they've got in there. That's basically what my first Lore Masters volume is just a bunch of subclasses. So I'm hoping that'll strike the right tone. One of those, if you like Tasha's subclasses, you'll love these. Boom. Speaking of tone. But yeah, so aside from working on that and working on Power Ranger stuff and Spycraft stuff, we heard back from some of the playtesters in Warzone. The most recent wave of playtesting has gone fantastically well. A couple of the changes that we made in the last round of playtesting, we heard what the playtesters were saying. We listened to their comments, and we made some tweaks and balances, and so far the response has been chef's kiss, muy bueno. The gamers are loving the game still, so the gameplay itself didn't change so dramatically that like the parts that they loved changed, that sort of thing. But it is really shaping up to be a hell of a game. And I cannot, like, I wish that I could fast forward time and get it out so you guys could see it. Get it into the Kickstarter so we could figure out what's going to be in that first release wave. Alex has a lot of businessing to do, I'm sure, on the other end. But overall, it is. I'm gonna spiral here in a second. So just say that playtests have started to come back from this wave of playtesting, and they're great reviews. And I know I say that every time, and of course there's always comments. There's always people that have said, there's always little bits and bobs of people that are like, hey, we'd rather see it this way, or oh, hey, this didn't quite work out, or hey, there's a typo in your manuscript. Like that's the stuff that we like to hear all the time. But what really kind of sinks, kind of kind of sets the tone and sets that playtest comment in gold is when we know that we made a tweak, we made a change, and we were hoping to hear this worked, or we were hoping to hear this did better than the last time because of that tweak, because of that change, and that's what we're hearing. So like we know we're doing the right thing, we know we're stepping in the right direction. It's just a matter, basically now it's just a matter of time. We got to get everything finalized, get some of those numbers down. We're getting towards the end of the year, and I know Alex wanted to shoot for early Kickstarter next year, so I can't wait. I can't wait for you guys to be able to play that. Like, it's, I again, I don't want to jump. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. Talk more about that down in the meat of the episode. To get back to Sea of Thieves. So, Sea of Thieves is one of the most beautiful video games that I've ever seen. The graphics on the people are a little cartoony, and the skeletons that you fight are a little cartoony, but like the ships and the water effects, the sunrise, the sunset, we've seen eclipses, we've seen the full moons, crescent moons. I'm pretty sure that I know if you go far enough north, you see the aurora borealis in the sky. Storms. It's just gorgeous. It is an unbelievably gorgeous game. If you ever get a chance to get a download of it, give it a try. I know for some people it seems really repetitive. You get this mission, you go sail your boat, you go do a mission, you get back, you get more missions. But the people who make Sea of Thieves, which I think is, I want to say I think it's Rare. I don't remember. Whoever makes that game, they do a great job of basically every other month or so they put out a kind of meta plot thing that your crews can do. And the current one is very Halloween themed because it came out right before Halloween, which is you got to run around killing this Captain Marrowbeard, who's a skeleton captain. You do all these different side quest things, and the more of those you do, the more these kind of like special badges, special equipment and things that you unlock. They don't change anything. They're like a super cool green flowing soul sword is the same as the rusty Bildrat sword when it comes to hitting people, but it looks cool, and it is something that, like, if I see someone, if we're at a port and I see another player, another human player, and he's all decked out in like the most recent head to toe regalia from the most recent meta plot, I know that guy worked his ass off to get all that stuff done, and he's probably a pretty prestigious player. He's probably done a lot of stuff. He probably knows what the hell he's doing. So if I can get an alliance with him, if I can get him on board, literally, then I know that I'm hopefully going to be able to do, for someone who only plays once or twice a week, hopefully I'll be able to make the most out of that. Well, because I've been playing more Sea of Thieves lately with my buddy Bryan, a couple of weeks ago we were playing, and we ended up in a situation that was way over our heads, and up sails this crew, a little crew of two. And so one of the things that is annoying about Sea of Thieves sometimes is that it is kind of a heavy PvP game. A lot of times crews will roll up on you and just sink your boat to sink your boat. It's annoying. It doesn't really cost you anything other than time. It might cost you money if you had like a hold full of treasure and you didn't get a chance to sell it or anything. It's annoying. Especially if it's somebody who they don't need your treasure and they're just doing it because they just want to sink a boat. So because of that, you tend to be very wary of other ships when they come by, and you announce out, hey, we're friendly, we're not going to shoot you, please don't shoot us. And sometimes that what'll happen is that someone will throw up a flag that says, hey, do you want to be in an alliance? And an alliance in Sea of Thieves is awesome because not only do you get like extra commendations and things, but if they finish missions while you're still part of the alliance and vice versa, you guys get paid. You get a portion of what they made as part of your alliance. So it's beneficial to go all to ally as much as you can, but unfortunately, a lot of times people don't care. They just really like, I want to sink your boat and crush your hopes and dreams. So because of that, we see this boat rolling up, and immediately it's the we don't want we're in the middle of something big. Let's shout them out and see if we can join up. And what ended up happening is one of them, not only did they answer with the yeah we'll do the alliance, but they actually joined our Xbox party. So like we could hear each other, we can talk on mics, and him and his friend joined Bryan and I, and we played for like another 2 hours, I think, doing cool stuff, and we learned a lot from them, and we got all kinds of crazy money and commendations and all this cool stuff. But also, for being utterly random internet people, we made a couple of friends. I mean, they're internet friends, so we don't know much about each other, but we do know. I know enough about him that we get along. We got along pretty well there, and then like the next week he saw that we were playing, so he jumped on and played with us some more. And then just a couple of nights ago, same thing happened. So we've actually kind of made some Sea of Thieves friends. And that's been pretty cool. Now here pretty soon, I've got to. Sadly, I have to play only every other week instead of every Wednesday because I've got a thing that has become part of my weekly schedule that I have to work into. But it's cool and it's work related, so you gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, so we've been playing a bunch of Sea of Thieves, and I've been playing a bunch of Minecraft, and I got D&D tomorrow, and one of my friends is running a new D&D game where I get to play test one of my classes, which I know it's going to be a lot of fun. I do think that the DM is a little concerned, not that it's overpowering, that it's going to be a little too chaotic, a little too whoopsie daisy. So we'll see. I'm gonna try and treat it as even though it is a chaotic idea, I'm gonna try and treat it as though the person doesn't necessarily want it to be that way. They're an emissary of chaos. They listen to the the changing of the tides and stuff, but they don't necessarily. I don't want it to turn it into a whoop-de-doo, goofy comic relief all of the time. Sometimes, sure, but not all the time. But yeah, so it's been good. Just a solid week, man. I don't know what else to necessarily say other than. We're getting down toward the holidays here in America. I mean, weird holidays this year because we're not getting together with distant family. We're not taking any major trips. This is a year, thankfully. So, my wife has my stepdaughter. My wife has my stepdaughter. Makes sense. From a previous relationship. And my son is from my previous marriage. And so every other year we have the kids for Christmas. And Christmas in my household has always been a big deal, specifically for me. I am I will fall to pieces when thinking about Christmas magic, and it's a big deal for me. It's one of the reasons why when I was in charge of Dark Age, I made Santa Claus and Mrs. Santa Claus as a holiday characters for people to play, because again it's fun and I enjoy it. I did for Dungeon in a Box, I did a standalone Christmas themed or holiday gift giving winter themed thing where like the guy that they're fighting that they end up fighting against is this fire giant with this sled that you're hoping to you know he it's almost like the Grinch stole Christmas, but you have to like stop the Grinch, and the Grinch is a fire giant. It's just fantastic stuff. So Christmas has always been a big deal for me, and so every other year we have the kids for Christmas. We've made sure that we time it together so that on the opposite years when they go with their other parents for Christmas, Natalie and I have a nice evening in. You know, we don't necessarily go crazy. I normally make a nice dinner for us. Maybe this year I'll do something from the D&D cookbook. It's one of those things where every other year we tend to go a little more all out. We actually set the tree up. We do all the fancy presents under the tree. We do Christmas morning. You know, like that's a big thing on the years where we have the kids. And this year is a kid year, but it's also a freaking COVID year. You know, where we can't do a lot of things. We can't. You know, we're now. Luckily, we'll still be in the house and we'll be playing with toys and all that stuff. I will definitely be watching Wonder Woman 84. That just got announced like today that it's going to be streaming on HBO Max on Christmas. Happy Christmas to me. So I'm super psyched about that. But yeah, so like it's weird because the holidays normally we do all this like last year when we did the holiday hopping, it was you know, I think we had like a total of like Nori had like 4 Christmases, Connor had like 5, we had 3. You know, like it was nuts because of all the hopping to different places, to different houses, to having people over, having a dinner, having, you know, it was nuts, but it was a lot of fun because you got to see everybody, you got to see all this family. And now because of the virus that looms, that's not going to happen this year, and it does feel like it's kind of taken the air out of Christmas's tires, starting with our Thanksgiving, which is why I wanted to do this episode. Because I really do. I feel as though I have got a lot to be thankful for, professionally, personally, familially, politically, and despite, you know, one of the things that I pride myself on, and you guys know this, is I pride myself on being as positive as I can be and passing the positivity on to others out in the world, that if I can help it. And I know, yes, there are some topics that I lose my shit on. Oop. Sorry. Don't freak out, YouTube. It was just one. There are times that I get on topics that I am not so positive about. Deadpool, Ahsoka, Arya Stark. That's about it. Very, very few others. But for the most part, I try to be as positive as I can be. I try to pass that positivity on because I want everybody around me to be having a better day than they had the day they had before. And that is something that I think is the goal of this whole thing. Very recently, I did a podcast where someone had asked why I do my YouTube show. You know, where did the YouTube show come from? And for those of you who've been here since the beginning, you know it originally started just because I wanted a place to vent. I wanted a place to tell stories and get things off my chest in a time where I was between contracts, so I was between gigs. I was fighting depression, not clinically diagnosed or anything, just a depressing time. But it was, and then it turned into something else. It turned into a way for me to reach out to fans, reach out to would-be freelancers, members of the community, of the industry. It allowed me to pass on really cool information, like being put on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers role-playing game team with TJ Storm and Elisa Teague, or telling people about being selected to remake and relaunch Warzone, a miniatures game that I loved 20 years ago. It's just this channel, as I told them on it was Needy Cat Games is their podcast. I believe they said that my episode's going to go live in 2 weeks. I'll put Needy Cat on the description so you can go listen to their podcast. It's cool. Last week I did the Shrine of Chaos with Dave from Mini Wargaming, and that was awesome. That was a fun time. But this allows me, this being the YouTube show, it allows me to pick a topic that I think is important, or that you guys pick. Anytime you leave a comment that says, I want to hear about this, if it's something that I think I can do a whole episode on, or a part of an episode on, or something, it goes on the list, and then when something comes up that I'm like, all right, cool, this is what I want to do, it's part of the thing. But where was I going with that? So this has turned into so much more than just a vlog of my stream of consciousness, brain fluid falling out of my mouth. Sometimes it is, if you go back and watch last week's episode, I was definitely just sort of talking to what came up in my brain. I know here pretty soon I plan on having an episode that's going to be a little touchy, a little scandalous, because of the topic involved. There are some views in the role-playing game industry right now that I do not agree with, not wholeheartedly anyway, and not to the degree that some of them are going. And I want to discuss that. I want to talk about that, in a way that I can explain where I'm coming from without sounding like some heavy-handed slam the door in your face jerk. And so I'm sure that episode will be kind of rambly, because I'm sure I'll be doing word circles talking about this, that, and the other thing. So we'll handle that when we get to it. But yeah, so going into these holidays, it's a weird feeling. This part of the year has always been big for me. This part of the year, I've got the kids, so it's going to be a fun time of year, even if we are cooped up because of the quarantine. But more than anything, I want it to be a positive time of year. I want to look at this and go, yeah, we're stuck indoors, but we're with people we love, and we've got fun things to do, and we're not on anybody's schedule but our own. We're not rushing around the state to hit 5 different Christmases in one afternoon. I think that I'm going to try and take a look at this in as positive of a light as possible. And that's actually where this episode came from. Is I was thinking about, since I don't want to do an episode on Thanksgiving, that I wanted to do my Thanksgiving now. My gamer thanks, if you will. So I know I've got a lot of viewers that are outside of the U.S., And I'm sure through TV and pop culture and everything, you understand that Thanksgiving is a thing over here. That it marks a celebration between the new colonizing people from Europe and the semblance of getting along with the indigenous people, the Native Americans. That it's a way for us to basically be thankful that we have a nation, and that we have a place to live, and we've got family, we've got friends. And while there is a lot of negative connotation to how things happened, and there is no question that the my several of my ancestors, the Caucasian folk that came over from Europe, we did not do anything nice to the Native Americans, to the indigenous people here, and it's been a rough ride, to say the least. It has not been fun for them, so Thanksgiving is kind of a weird. I don't think that for most people, Thanksgiving hasn't been a holiday about that for a very long time. I think Thanksgiving has turned into just basically a holiday for us to take a second, be thankful for what we have, be thankful for the people in our lives, get together with family, eat a lot of food, have a feast, kind of reset our brain capacities, and go, all right, let's go into the next year knowing what's important to us. And I think that's really what Thanksgiving has become. I don't know anybody, aside from like second grade elementary school plays, that do the whole Pilgrim Native American thing anymore. Most people view Thanksgiving as a way for us to go, you know what we've got, we're doing good with, and this is why. And these are the reasons why we're thankful. And that's kind of what I wanted to do with this episode. Is I know that it's not, there's really not really a Thanksgiving in Europe. There's not really a Thanksgiving, in some of the other continents like this. I know that there are equivalents, and if you look at some of the calendars, they give us hey, this day is their version of Thanksgiving. That's not what I want to talk about. What I want to basically talk about is that on our Thanksgiving, we normally kind of go round robin the table before we dine into some yum food, and we discuss what it is that at that moment we're particularly thankful for. That what really kind of shines in our backdrop of life. And for a lot of people, 2020 has not been a very shining light. Between the virus, between politics, between the way that some of our friends are treating each other, it's been a rough year, and I think there's going to be quite a few Thanksgiving tables for the people who do ignore the virus and just go ahead and get together anyway, hopefully being safe and not spreading the virus any further. That I think there is going to be quite a few get-togethers that are not going to be pleasant, that are going to be pretty brutal, because a lot of people have different ideas of what they should be thankful for, and what they should be, in some cases, what they're angry that other people are thankful for, which is sad, in all honesty. But I wanted to take today to do a thankful for. I wanted to do a Thanksgiving from the nerd, from the professional nerd, kind of scale it back, go back over a handful of things that are nerdy in general, and be thankful for that. I didn't write them down. I didn't make a list like my top 10 nerds giving things. but what I do want to talk about them though. And one of those things, hands down, obviously, I could go all day about my friends and family. Without them, I would be, arguably, I would not be here today. Um, there's a lot, lot to unpack between my friends and family, and the people that keep me going, the people who keep me from clinging on to a catastrophic thought and bringing my whole world crumbling down around me mentally when it's not that big of a deal. I'm super thankful for those people. Um, I am uh, unbelievably thankful. I am thankful for the fact that my ex-wife and I, and my current wife and her boyfriend of long time, we all get together, um, over Zoom or over Skype or whatever, and we are doing a very good job co-parenting my son, and helping him get through what's a hard time for the kids. This whole schooling from home thing is rough. It's not easy on them. Um, and I'm very thankful that we get along as two different families, knowing that the little guy who bridges between us is the most important thing to consider as the connective tissue between the families. We have to make sure that we take care of the next generation, and that it doesn't turn into something where I've seen so many relationships where it's a weapon used between the two households, and that is not only wrong, but it's abusive to the child. And I'm so thankful that we co-parent well. We have our issues every once in a while, but like overall, we put that little guy, first when it comes to the decisions that need to be made. So thankful for that. Um, I am thankful that the majority of my family is healthy. Um, we've been very lucky that no one super close to, no one in our close familial circle has got the Rona. Nobody's picked it up. No one's had to fight it. Um, no one's had to go to the hospital and incur tons of debt because of it. I mean, hell, Natalie and I are still paying off, hospital debt from, 2 years ago when she had a bad run of work related seizures, or seizures at work, I should say. Uh, we still have the GoFundMe currently running to try and help pay for those. You know what? I will put that link in the description too. Why not? It's been a long time since I posted that up. Um, for the most part, we're all healthy. I had earlier this year, I had mentioned to you guys, I had a nasty infected spider bite on my butt that I honestly thought was going to send me to the hospital, like sepsis. But we got it taken care of. We're in good shape. Um, I hadn't really said it to anybody, but there were a couple of nights and days a few months ago where I really wondered about my health, and sat, unfortunately I don't have health insurance right now, so going to get a random checkup is far too expensive, and because of COVID, a lot of places aren't seeing people for random checkups. There's got to be something wrong with you. So I'm thankful that I'm as healthy as I am. I know I need to lose weight. And I know that I need to get a rein on a few different types of intake that I put into this mouth. But I'm thankful that I'm doing well aside from that. I'm not like I'm not having like heart palpitations or anything like that. I'm doing my best with what I got. Um, Professionally, I don't think I could be more thankful of how things are going. This year alone, I've done uh, a short story, a novel. I'm gearing up for another novel, uh, two different miniature games, potentially a board game. I sold a card game. Um, Working on several role playing games, one of which is part of this giant license package from Hasbro. It's things have been really good. Throw in the extra stuff that I'm doing for the DMs Guild on the side, and I really feel that this year has been a big lift, a big step up from years previous that I can't. I don't. There's no one in particular that I can thank. I can't. There's all kinds of people that I can say, "Hey, thanks for standing behind me, and thanks for believing in me or picking me for a project." Alex, Elisa, John, Jason, those guys. You guys chose me, Alex and Pat. You guys chose me for these projects, and hopefully I'm doing the job that you need me to do to keep up on that. But it's been it's been a hell of a year. I get to work with a lot of very cool people, and very cool licenses, and have been given, I don't want to say free reign, but given the opportunity to mold things of my own creation. It's been a good year for Bryan as an industry type. Several podcasts, a couple of different Twitch streams. These are things that I don't think I would have been able to do if it wasn't for the support of several of my industry friends. There are days where I still can't believe it. That this is what I do for a living. That this is my life. And I hope that I'm doing right by all the people that have helped me get there, and that I'm not stepping on people along the way. I heard a very cool anecdote today, that was, be aware of the toes that you're stepping on your way up, because they're attached to the asses that you're gonna have to kiss on your way back down. And I thought that was a very, very eloquent way of putting, don't burn your bridges. These are all people that are going to be part of the process and part of what you need to do. And it's fantastic. I can't say more about my job. I want to do more, if I have time, obviously. But I want to make sure that these things get the attention that they need, the different games that I'm working with. I started this year off helping Big Child Creatives. I'm very, very thankful for Jose and those guys for helping me in a rough time, making sure that I had a profitable job. I hope that we got them set up with enough accounts that it made that worthwhile and it wasn't just basically charity work, because I know at the beginning Jose extended that job out to me because he knew I was in a rough place, and I hope that we kicked enough butt on the back end that it made it worth it. I know COVID did not help that, but COVID didn't help a lot of things. Let's see what else. We were talking. I mentioned earlier that I'm super thankful for being chosen for, to be the main catalyst, the main design element for the new Warzone. Warzone was huge for me and my friends back in the late 90s. It was a great game. We loved it. I mean, hell, my ex-wife and I played it. It was a fun game, a cool world, a great setting, and I remember wanting to be able to do stuff with that game way back when, and when it was in the hands of, I think it was called Excelsior is the name of the game company that had it for a very short amount of time. I remember talking to that guy, the guy who ran that company, at Origins, and asking him straight away. This is mind you, this is before my job with Privateer. This is before before any of that. All they'd done really is like demoing and playtesting, and a couple of like magazine articles. I remember asking him if I could help in some way with Ultimate Warzone, and that guy was very dismissive. I don't remember who I talked to. I remember he was very dismissive and very I'm in control. I've got it under control. Everything's fine. And then the game went away, and then eventually Protoss picked it up. But now, I look back at that and I go, I kind of, yeah, it's been a couple decades later, but I got my wish. I'm not only am I working with the Mutant Chronicles, but I'm helping shape the new future of the miniatures game, and I'm making a game that I want to play. I actually recently put this on my Facebook, where I had said, there's a feeling as a designer. There are a lot of times where I've designed games or developed on games that I'd play it, but it's not necessarily it's not like I want to put it in my schedule to make sure that I play it. Or I'm playing it because I think that I should. I should give it a test. I should give it a try. I should show the world that if I can play it, if I enjoy it as the designer, you guys should enjoy it as the player. Warzone's different. I'm actually psyched about getting some of these models made and getting an army on the table and getting to play. Several of my friends have said before in the past, if there's a game that Bryan plays, he probably has ideas of stuff to do to change it, to basically design extra stuff for it. Quick tangent, back in the Babylon 5 days, where I was right before I became staff at Mongoose, and I was doing a lot of magazine articles for him. We played a Conan game, a Conan role-playing game, and because I had this concept in my head of what I wanted to do, I knew what I wanted to do, but there wasn't rules to really make it work right. It didn't function quite right. I wrote an article specifically that made the rules for what I wanted to play, because I wanted to, and I submitted them to the magazine, and I got them published in the magazine, and I got them to become official rules so I could use them in the game. And that's exactly there's a long-standing joke between several of my old gamers, is that if Bryan doesn't, if Bryan has an idea and he wants to get it, he wants to play it, he wants to get it in there, that I'll either get that as a job, or I'll find a way to get it added on as an optional rule through my work process. Now, of course, that's not actually 100% true, but there have been a couple of times where I've really wanted to make sure that this rule got into the game, because I thought that it'd be really cool and be super awesome as a gamer, or super fitting, or or whatnot. And so I basically would bust my butt to try and make sure that it gets in a publication. And while that is not the case with Warzone, this new Warzone, I find myself, every time that we sit down to do another wave of minis, another wave of units for the different factions and everything, almost without exception, I find myself going, man, I'll play. I can play this faction, or ooh, I should play that faction, or ooh, man, I can play that faction, and that doesn't happen to me very often. That, like, it's pretty rare that I don't just pick a faction and go, yeah, these are my guys, and maybe have like a second runner up. But now, this new game that I'm making, I'm enjoying all of them. I'm like, every single one of them is, I want to see these guys on the field. I want to play these guys. I want to try them out. I want them all to be something that that I get an opportunity to roll dice for, and hopefully show that these rules and these stats and these the equipment that we've made, that these work, that these come together the way they're supposed to, that the game plays the way that it is designed to do. I want that to be the way that Warzone comes off of my brain matter. You know, I don't want there to be a faction that I'm just throwing in there because, well, completion's sake says it has to be there. No way. I want to be just as excited for every grunt trooper that comes out of a faction that I don't really plan to play. I want those dudes to be super psyched for their own reasons. You know, whether it's, you know, even if they're like baseline grunts that you know, people are going to feel to, you know, as extra bodies. I want them to be extra bodies with just enough flavor and just enough coolness about them that the player that goes, you know what, I'm doing the extra body the extra body force, that guy goes to the table and the person sitting across from him doesn't immediately see those extra bodies and go, oh, grunt force, whatever. I want him to see that force and go, ooh, you took some of those guys. I wonder why. That's the goal. I want this game to raise just as many tactical questions from your opponent as it is you. And so far, I'm doing the thankful thing. So far, it seems like we've got it. We've got that happening. That the playtesters are coming back with good reviews. Their questions make sense. Nothing seems to be just completely, you know, blowing up our system out of nowhere. It's coming together, and I think when it happens, I'm so pumped and I'm so excited for you guys to get a chance to play that. That's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for having a game system that I'm making that seemingly has an open end. That is, I'm thankful for being able to keep making it. It's not just a paycheck. This is actually something that I want people to be just as excited to play as I have been to create it and who eventually play it. I am unbelievable. So we're going to talk real quick, a couple other little quick thankfuls, because again, this is my gamer Thanksgiving. I'm super thankful for for Elise Teague and TJ and Scott Gata, basically the Renegade team, for trusting me and choosing me to be part of this Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Transformers, G.I. Joe, hopefully new licenses beyond there. It sounds like I'm going to hopefully get a chance to maybe do some stuff with White Wolf, because we Renegade just acquired the World of Darkness stuff. So the trench coat, dark-haired, fang-wearing skater goth Bryan from high school / early college that was so, you know, neck deep in White Wolf lore for werewolf and vampire, who said that he wanted to write for them and wanted to be part of that world, and all of the different character stories that we put together in years and years and years of LARPing and role playing and coming up with character concepts, sometimes to games that never happened. All of that stuff's coming together, and it sounds like I'm actually going to get a chance to maybe help with those worlds in some fashion, which is it's a partially a dream come true. Again, I cannot say how much I am thankful for Elisa ringing my Facebook doorknob that day and saying, hey, I want you for this team. And it's amazing. I love the team that I'm on. I love the people that I'm working with. I love the what we're working with and what we're able to do. It's a great company. I know I'm not like a staff member or anything, but they're treating me very well and basically, have all but let me know that as long as I have openings in my schedule and good ideas to pitch, they'd listen to them. So I'm thankful for that relationship. I'm thankful for the guys over at Crafty Games to listen to so much of what my early ramblings about the new version of Spycraft that is going to hopefully be coming out next year. They listened to my ramblings. They paid attention to some of the stuff that I'm writing, and that's awesome. It's crazy. I'm thankful for John and Jason at Catalyst Game Labs, who gave me the shot to work on a little bit of Shadowrun stuff, and then gave me a novella, and then we're like, dude, your novella's sick. Let's do a novel. Let's do a short story. Let's do another novel. We're looking at maybe doing some BattleTech stuff. It's 2020. While it has been a political suckfest and stressful and quarantined and filled with viruses and Trumps and just blah, professionally, it has been one of the best years as far as options go and progress for me as an employee, as an industry person. And I can't say enough that it's because of you guys. My friends, my playtesters, my family, I love everybody. I love you guys all to death, but it comes down to you. It comes down to the fans. It comes down to the readers. It comes down to the people who buy these products and tell those companies, hey, just recently, I put a post on one of my industry friends' Facebooks because they announced something to do with a license that they got. And I told them, I was like, hey, if you ever need any help, let me know. If I know that license really well, I'd love to give you a hand if I could, if I've got time and if I can. And multiple people, multiple fans, one of which is an industry person, came forward and actually said, you should talk to Bryan. He's got this under control. If you need help, if you want a good thing, you should go to Bryan. And I can't say enough that how much that little things like that mean to me. That it's huge to know that through all the trials and tribulations and all the hardships and the weird stopgaps in my career and whatnot, failed Kickstarters and everything, that at the end of the day, I'm 43 years old. I still got quite a bit of time left on this planet. And I am I'm leaving the mark in the industry that I wanted to leave. That I've always said that I wanted to leave my fingerprint in things, and I want people to be excited and happy for the things that I've done. I want, more than anything, I want my kids to be able, when they tell their kids, what did Grandpa do? Grandpa made toys and games for a living. He made people happier for a living. He let people forget about the hard stuff, the heavy things that they have to lift. He helped them put that down for a little while through his writing and through his games and through his creations. And that's what sorry. I'm getting all emo. And that's what I'm glad for. That's what I'm thankful for this year, is that I really, almost more than any other year, I feel like I have taken the right steps toward that ultimate goal. And while I would love to live to a ripe old age and probably never stop making games because it's what I love to do, if it all stopped tomorrow, I would hope that what I have done and what I have allowed, what I've been allowed to be part of thus far, would live beyond me and would would be the things that my kids could be proud of. That they could say, there are people out there that are smiling that weren't smiling before because of what my dad did. And that's really all I got. That's what I'm thankful for today. And it's been a crazy roller coaster. And it's not done yet, I'm sure. I'm sure there's more to it. And there's going to be more that I'm going to tell you guys in the future. Because I already know there's stuff that I can't talk about, that, legal NDAs and things that I can't tell you about, but I want to. And soon we will. Soon we will be able to. But yeah, so as I wrap up here for the Gamer Thanksgiving episode, you guys are why I do this. You gamers, you fans, readers, buyers, players, collectors, whoever you might be, this is the whole reason for what I do, what I do is I want to make your life, your gaming life, just a little bit more interesting. A little, even if it's just a tiny little malicious, just a tiny little itty bitty malicious grin when you read one of the monsters that I've created and you go, I can't wait to put that against somebody. Or you find out that Martian Banshees are my favorite capital unit in Warzone, and they're gonna make just those guys on their own are making me gonna start a capital force when we have more units available. That you go, ooh, I used to like Martian Banshees. I wonder why he likes them. Why my playtests with Wolfbanes have been some of the most fun, laughing, just guffawing Viking moments, because we've designed them to be that style of gameplay, and it's working. Or when you get to the end of my most recent Shadowrun novel, and you close the book and you set it down and go, I hope we hear more from these guys. From these characters. I hope we hear more from this team that has just been formed. These are the things that I'm thankful for. And as long as people are still willing to help me put food on the table and pay my bills, and believe that I am worth, that my skills and my talents and my ridiculous imagination is worth paying to help them create their products to get out to you guys, and then as long as you are still willing to shell out your hard-earned dollars, euros, pound, drachma, kroner, wherever, yen, new yen, as long as you're willing to spend the money and support the companies that are willing to put me on their roster and have me help them make the products that we want to see and we want to play, I'll keep doing it. I got no plans on stopping. And I am thankful, more than anything, I am thankful for that. So, next 2 weeks, you guys stay safe. Hug your loved ones close, safely. And for the people who do pay attention to it, happy Thanksgiving. For the people that don't, happy Thanksgiving anyway, because it's not about that old stupid American thing anymore. Now it's just about being thankful for things that are awesome. And I am thankful for you guys. And stay safe. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the weather while you can. And you know how it is. Put a smile on somebody's face and play some games. You know I will be.